Okay, so vertebral subluxation. That was a topic I was avoiding because it's been thoroughly debunked. But recently, someone on Twitter posted guidelines relating to it, which are really harmful and really dumb, just to be honest. So the subluxation theory is the idea that small misalignment in your spine need to be corrected by your chiro to maintain good health and get rid of pain. It's been thoroughly debunked, but despite that, 61.4% of chiros in the USA still believe in it, whereas 33% of Canadian chiros use the subluxation theory as part of their marketing campaign. So the guidelines were posted by this guy named Matthew McCoy, who's the vice president of the Foundation for Vertebral Subluxation. By the way, very scientific if you are for something and researching it. I'm pretty sure you're not going to find if it doesn't exist. Anyways, he's problematic because he bashes against chiros who don't believe in it. So in the guidelines, they mention alternative therapies like spinal manipulation that chiros do, being used to treat head and chest colds, anxiety, stress, and ADHD, and other non-musculoskeletal complaints, which is really problematic given the state of the evidence, which doesn't support it. So in 2021, a global effort led by Pierre Côté looked at all the studies available on spinal manipulation, so back cracking, on non-musculoskeletal complaints. And basically, they found no evidence to support it. So it's all based on fluff. In the whole of the literature, they only found 6 studies that looked at spinal manipulation, so back cracking, and the treatment of non-musculoskeletal complaints like asthma, migraines, periods, and all that stuff, and they found no effects. So basically, back cracking is probably not going to do much for your kid's ADHD. When you hear that popping sound from a spinal manipulation, all that's going on is a gas bubble is forming through a process called tribonucleation. That's not going to do much for your organs function because that's not how organs work. They don't work through bubbles. They're not like a kid's birthday party. Chiros who defend the subluxation theory argue that you need to manipulate the spine back into proper alignment. The problem with that theory is that spinal manipulation doesn't even change the alignment of the spine. So if we look at this study, after manipulation, there's no increase in the gapping between vertebrae, so the space between the joints, which is normal because humans are solid and we're not a bag of noodles. Another example of this is this 2015 study where they took people with neck pain and gave them 8 sessions of spinal manipulation over 4 weeks and compared them to a pain-free control group. Based on the fluoroscopic imaging that they took before and after, so that's a form of x-ray in real time, they found no difference in the alignment of the spine before or after. So it doesn't change alignment. And it's crazy that I need to say this in 2022. You can't change alignment with your hands. Just to give you an idea of how ludicrous the subluxation theory is, a spinal scoliosis, which is gross misalignment of the spine, so not small, minute changes that you need your special hands to measure, like something you can see easily with your eyes, doesn't even seem to have that big of an impact on pain. So if we look at people with scoliosis, indeed, they're more likely to have pain than people who don't, but that difference overall is smaller than what's considered clinically important. So it's smaller than 1 or 2 out of 10. And the craziest part of all this is that there's some evidence to suggest that the relative increase in pain in people with scoliosis might be due more to negative body image, something very common in people with scoliosis, than it is to biomechanical factors. And you know what? I don't think chiros obsessing over perfect alignment is going to be really helpful with that. So if you're a chiro who still believes in subluxation theory in 2022, I implore you, open PubMed, read an article, confront your bias, do better.